Is it fine? Yes, so we are moving on with today's lecture number 2 on NCERT highlight biological classification. Yes, everyone. So let's move on. And now, yes, Binaya. So now reminding you, do join the Telegram group that is t.me/neat underscore biopoint, where you have daily session updates, regular discussion, daily polls, and where you can interact with me. Yes, the direct link to join the Telegram group is given there in the description box. Once again, reminding you, do hit the like button, do share it with your friends, and do subscribe Biopoint Stream the World of Bio. If anyone new is watching this channel without guys, can you hear now?
Guys, can you hear now?
Yes. Okay, Abhijit and Binaya. It was a network issue. I don't know what happened in between. Hope the screen and the audio is perfectly fine now. Yes. So let's start the session without wasting much time with Kingdom Fungi. Excuse me. So one thing I'm informing you is that uh, soon after NCRT highlight, that is in the right at the next lecture, that is from biological classification, you will be having NCRT based quiz. Okay, that is in the platform ahaslides.com, and you will be having quiz in that platform on the chapter biological classification, entire chapter of biological classification. It was much delayed due to since we haven't completed the NCRT highlight. Okay, yes. So the fungi constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. They show a great diversity in morphology and habitat. You must have seen that fungi on a moist bread and rotten fruits. The common mushroom that you eat and toadstools are also fungi. White spots seen on mustard leaves is due to a parasitic fungus. Another important statement or a sentence that is asked for your entrance examination. Okay, that was asked for your NEET examination. That is white spots on mustard leaves is a bacterial disease, viral disease, fungal disease. Such a way of question was asked. Protozoans. So such a sort of question was asked, and the answer is fungal disease. What type of fungus? Parasitic fungal disease is the one that white spots on mustard leaves is caused by. Yes, not today, Binaya. In the next lecture. I hope you are asked about the quiz slide. I mean, AHA slide quiz. So that will be in the next lecture because today you can see the count of the members since it is NCRT highlight because it's already completed chapter. Okay, right? So if you are doing that, it will be a great loss to most of the students. So after informing from a day before, we will do it in the next day as a slide, AHA slide quiz live. Okay. So, some unicellular fungi, example yeast, that is used to make bread and beer. So, other fungi cause diseases in plants such as wheat rust causing Puccinia. So, the fungi that causes the disease, rust in wheat is caused by a fungi called Puccinia, right? Rust in wheat is caused by a fungi called Puccinia, and some source of antibiotic, that is in case of penicillium. Fungi are cosmopolitan. What do you mean by cosmopolitan? In the detail lecture, I have explained what do you mean by cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan means that fungi are worldwide. Yes, fungi are worldwide. That is, they occur in air, water, soil, on animals and plants, and they prefer to grow in warm and humid places. And it is to prevent the food from going bad due to bacterial or fungal infections, that it is kept in a refrigerator. Yes, found all over the world. That is what is meant by cosmopolitan. Yes, Vinaya. So, with the exception of yeast, fungi are filamentous. Except yeast, all other fungi are filamentous. Yes, their bodies consist of long, slender, thread-like structures called hyphae. Then what else we have learned in connection with hyphae? We have learned about what? Mycelium. Right? We have learned about mycelium. That is the network of hyphae forms mycelium. Okay. And some hyphae that are continuous within the tubes are called xenocytic hyphae, and others have septae or cross walls in their hyphae. Yes, Tanupriya. So xenocytic hyphae is also known as. Give me the answer. Xenocytic hyphae. For example, if this is the case of an hyphae, this will be a xenocytic hyphae. If you are the opponent, this will be a xenocytic hyphae. Yes. So if it is in case of septate hyphae, there will be partitions in between, right? And that partitions are known as what? Septae, right? So those partitions, if those are present in case of the hyphae of a fungus, then it is known as septate hyphae. And if no such partitions are there in case of fungus, then it is known as, in case of a hyphae, then it is known as xenocytic hyphae or aseptate hyphae. Yes. Then the cell wall of fungus. The composition of fungal cell wall is of chitin and polysaccharide. Most fungi are heterotrophic and absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrate and are called as saprophytic. Fungi are known as saprophytic because they obtain their food or nutrition from dead and decaying organisms. Yes, and some live on plants and animals and are called parasites. Yes, they can also live as symbionts, that is in a mutual relationship, that is in association with algae as lichen and association with the roots of higher plants as mycorrhiza. Very important. Very important. Short question for me. Yes, Abhijit, Binaya, Tanupriya, where are you all? Okay. So reproduction fungi can take place by vegetative means called fragmentation, fission, and budding. Asexual reproduction is by means of spore formation. Yes, asexual reproduction is by means of spore formation, and such spores are called conidia or sporangiospores or zoospores. These are the spores that helps in asexual reproduction of fungus, and sexual reproduction is by means of oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. Yes, so, various spores are produced in distinctive structures called fruiting bodies. So, the fruit producing structure in case of fungi is, spore producing structure in case of fungi is fruiting bodies. Okay, so the sexual cycle involves three following steps, that is, fusion of protoplasm between two motile or non motile gamete called plasmogamy. Fusion of two nuclei is called karyogamy. Meiosis and zygote result in haploid spores. These are the three different steps that are involved in sexual cycle of fungal reproduction. Yes, that is two protoplasm of two motile or non-motile fuse together to form fuse together, and that is what is known as plasmogamy. Then the nuclei fuse together, and that is what is called as karyogamy. Then meiosis and zygote result in haploid spore formation. Yes, that is the three steps involved in sexual reproduction of a fungi. When a fungi reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae of compatible mating types come together and fuse. In fungi, the fusion of two haploid cells, yes, fusion of two haploid cells result in the formation of a diploid cell. However, in other fungi, ascomycetes and basidiomycetes, an intervening dikaryotic stage, that is N plus N, that is two nuclei per cell occurs, and such a condition is known as dikaryon. Yes. So in case of fungus, what we have discussed is that two haploid, that is N and N, fuse together to form 2N. This is what haploid and haploid gametes fuse together to form a diploid fungi, right? So in rare case, that is in some cases of ascomycetes and basidiomycetes, there will be dikaryon stage, that is two separate nucleus will be there in that fungi. N and N type, N plus N type of nuclei, that is two nuclei without fusing will stand separate. Okay, and that such a condition is known as dikaryon condition, and such a phase where the fungi shows its dikaryon condition is known as dikaryophase of a fungus. Yes, dikaryophase of a fungus. Later, the parental nuclei fuse and the cells become diploid. The fungi form fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, leading to the formation of haploid spores. Yes, so haploid spores or spore formation is done in case of fruiting bodies. The morphology of a mycelium, mode of spore formation and fruiting bodies from the base of the division of kingdom into various classes. Yes, that is the first class of fungi is phycomycetes. Phycomycetes. That is, members of phycomycetes are aquatic, found in aquatic habitats, on decaying wood in moist and damp places, or such as obligate parasite. Now, comment me, what is this obligate parasite? What do you mean by this obligate parasite? Term obligate parasite. Yes, right from the first lecture we were discussing that what is obligate parasite, that is they cannot survive, they cannot continue their lifespan without destroying a host body, right? Without destroying a host body they cannot continue a lifespan. Yes, Binay. Yes, Abhijit. Network problem in my phone. Okay, it's okay, you may watch the recorded session. Okay, so the answer was correct. That is, it cannot continue their lifespan without destroying a host body. And their mycelium may be septate or aseptate. That is, aseptate or cenocytic. Sorry, very sorry, very sorry. Their mycelium is aseptate and cenocytic. That is, there are no partitions. Partitions are not present in case of phycomycetic fungi. Yes. So asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores, that is motile, and if it is not motile, that spores are known as aplanospores. If the spores are motile, then it is known as zoospores, and if it is non-motile, then it is known as aplanospores. The spores are endogenously produced in a structure called sporangium. Very important. Endogenous production. What is this endogenous? What do you mean by this endogenous? That is internally produced. Spores are internally produced, right? In a structure called as what? Sporangium. So a gamete, a zygospore is formed by the fusion of two gametes. Gametes are similar in morphology. Yes, we have discussed what is isogamy, oogamy, and what anisogamy. If the gametes are similar in shape, then it is known as isogamy. If it is dissimilar in shape, then it is known as anisogamy. And if one is large and one is small, then it is known as what? Oogamy. Yes, everyone. Yes. So, some examples of what phycomycetes are mucor, rhizopus, albigo. Rhizopus is known as the bread mold, and parasitic fungi on mustard, that is albigo. So we have learned a mnemonic to what? Yes, Calvin. Mnemonic to remember this, and that is Ram, that is rhizopus, albigo, and mucor. Yes. Then ascomycetic fungi. They are also known as sac fungi. That is, they are mostly multicellular. Example, penicillium, and or rarely they are unicellular. That is in case of yeast. That is the Saccharomyces. That is scientific term for yeast. Okay. Then they are saprophytic decomposers or coprophilous, that is grow on cow dung. Very important of coprophilous. What is coprophilous? That is they grow on cow dung. Mycelium is branched and septate. That is what the partitions are present. Partitions are present, right? Yeah. Their sexual spores are conidia produced exogenously. That is, they are externally produced. Externally produced. That is, they just what they are just produced outside. That is, they just release their spores into the environment. Yes, they just release their spores into the environment. Okay, so next, mm, on the special mycelium called conidiophores. Conidia germination produce mycelium. Conidia on germination produce mycelium. Sexual spores are called ascospores. Sexual spores in case of fungi is called as ascospores. They are endogenously produced in a sac-like asci. That is, sexual spores are produced endogenously. That is, internally produced in a sac-like structure. Yes, yes, everyone. So these asci are arranged in different types of floating bodies called ascocarps. So the different arrangements of asci, these asci are arranged in different types of floating bodies. So such arrangement is known as what? Ascocarp. Example, Aspergillus, Claviceps, Neurospora. That is can. A mnemonic that we have learned. Can. Claviceps, Aspergillus, Neurospora. Neurospora is extensively used in biochemical and genetic work. Very important. Very important. Previous year NEET question. Okay. Many members like morels and truffles are edible and are considered delicacies. Yes, that is, this morels and truffles are known as the edible fungi. That is, they can be eaten. Another previous year asked question, sure short question. Yes. So that's all for ascomycetes. Then next is basidiomycetes. So is it clear till now? Yes, Calvin, Binaya. Okay, fine. So commonly known as basidiomycetes are mushroom fungi. Basidiomycetes, commonly known forms of basidiomycetes are mushrooms, bracket fungi, puffballs, etc. Then this basidiomycetes is also known as club fungi. As we have discussed, it is also known as club fungi. Yes, everything that we have discussed. So they grow in soil, on logs, tree stumps, and in living plant bodies as parasite. Example: rust and smut. Rust and smut is an example of basidiomycetes. Yes, that is, rust implies what? Rust implies which type of which fungus? That is, rust implies Puxenia. That is, Puxenia fungus. Yes, Puxenia fungus. Is it audible now?
Is it audible now?
Yes. Okay. Fine. So, we have stopped, that is in case of strains or genotypes. The resultant structure is a dikaryotic that is to ultimately give rise to basidium. Karyogamy and meiosis takes place in basidium producing four basidiospores. Another important point. Four basidiospores are produced. Okay. So the basidiospores are exogenously produced in a structure called basidium. So these spores are externally produced. Yes, everyone. They are externally produced. Okay, so the basidia are arranged in proteins called basidiocarps. Common members are agaricus, that is mushroom, ustilago, that is mud, puxenia, that is rust fungus. Yes, you have learned the clue, that is UPA. Ustilago, puxenia, agaricus. Yes, next is eutromycetes, that is last and final fungi. Then you have kingdom Plantae and Animalia that we will see only after completing virus, viroids, and lichens. Okay, so that is the kingdom Plantae that you are learning right now from Lisa. That is in the plant kingdom chapter. Then you have already covered animal kingdom by him. Yes, so that's of least important topics in this chapter. Then we will move on up only after completing virus. We will move on with that. Yes. So deuteromycetes, it is known as imperfect fungi. Only the asexual or vegetative phases are known. Okay, the sexual forms of this fungi were discovered. When the sexual forms were discovered, they were moved on to higher classes. That is rightly where they belong to. Yes, since their sexual phases are unknown, they are moved on with this Deuteromycetes. So if their sexual phases are found it or discovered, they will be moved on to the respective perfect groups where it have to be placed. Okay. So it is also possible that asexual and vegetative phases stage have given one name under the and are placed under the name Deuteromycetes. The sexual stage was another placed under another class. Later, when the linkages were established, the fungi was correctly identified and moved out of Deuteromycetes. Yes, we have said that in the previous lectures too. That is when the correct properties or features was identified in case of Deuteromycetes, they were moved on to the respective classes or groups. Yes. So one perfect sexual stage of members of Deuteromycetes were discovered. They were often moved on to Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes. Yes. So if their sexual one perfect sexual stage of members of discovered, if it is discovered, then they will be moved on to either Ascomycetic or Basidiomycetic type of fungi. Yes. So they reproduce only by sexual spores, that is conidia. The mycelium is septate and branched. Some of them are saprophytic or parasitic, while a large number of them are decomposers of litter, help in mineral cycling, and some examples are alternaria, coleotrichum, and trichoderma. That is cat. Coleotrichum, alternaria, trichoderma. Yes, everyone. Yes, Rachit. So kingdom Plantae, then kingdom Animalia, then we will move on with completing virus, we will move on with that. Okay. So in the five kingdom system of classification, Vitaca, there is no mention of lichens and some acellular organisms like virus, viroids, and prions. These are briefly introduced here. All of them have showed ill effects of common cold or flu. What effects viruses can have on us if we do not associate with it in our condition. Viruses do not find a place in classification since they are not truly living. Yes, they are not truly living because when they are outside a host, they are inactive. Yes, they have an inert crystalline structure, non-cellular organisms outside a living cell. Okay, so once again, since we have completed the fungi, once again I'm reminding you in the previous lecture of, I hope the same lecture Biological classification, we have said about the mucormycosis or the black fungus. Also, you might have known that recently in the cases we have rows about white, yellow fungus too. White and yellow fungus too. The most fatal is the yellow fungus of the three. Okay, fatal. That is once affected in most cases, death is gone. So what should do is all of you should have a proper hygiene. That's the only way, the first preventive measure that we can have in order to protect ourselves from these fungal infections. Okay, yes. So once they infect a cell, they take over the machinery of the host cell to replicate themselves, killing the host. So if they are attacking a host body, what happens is that first time I'm attending in the live session, but started saying yes, Kirti. Okay, Kirti. In the 10th standard, we have a Kriti. That's why I just read the name like that. Okay, Kirti, thank you so much. So hope it's perfectly clear. So if you are not able to follow with the speed topics of NCRT mark, do watch the previous lecture session, that is the detailed lecture of biological classification. I hope the playlist is given there in the description box. No, okay, we will add it. We will add it. The playlist is given in the. I mean, when you check the playlist of from the community page, playlist of the channel, then you can see biological classification. Yes, 5 lectures will be there, and after completing today's lecture we will update with this NCRT highlight 2 there. So do watch it if you are not able to follow with this. Okay, so the name virus, that means venom or poisonous fluid, was discovered by given by Demetrius in 1892 and recognized as a disease, mosaic disease in tobacco. Yes, as we have discussed in the detailed lecture, this Dimitri Ivanovsky is not the one really, if it is really in case of that, it Dimitri Ivanovsky or DJ Ivanovsky is not the one who discovered or who gave the term virus. It was done by Louis Pasteur, but as per our latest NCRT, it is DJ Ivanovsky. Latest edition of NCRT, this is DJ Ivanovsky. So what should we write? If two options they are given, the answer should be DJ Ivanovsky. Yes, they were found to be smaller than bacteria because they pass through bacteria-proof filters. Okay, they were moving either moving to the bacteria proof filters. That is where bacteria cannot pass through, viruses can move, right? So what can we identify from that? We can identify that these viruses are very smaller than bacteria. Okay, Kirti. Yes, Binaya. Then M.W. Bjornick in 1898 demonstrated that infected plants of tobacco could cause infection in their lungs and called the fluid as contagium vivum fluidum, meaning infectious living fluid. So this Bjornick extracted a fluid from this infected tobacco mosaic plants. Okay, plants with tobacco mosaic disease. So okay, so from that he just found a fluid that is contagium vivum fluidium and named found a fluid and named it as contagium vivum fluidum, meaning infectious living fluid. And later on, W.M. Stanley, that is another scientist, in 1835, said that the viruses could be crystallized and crystal consists of large protein. Yes, they are inert organisms like obligate parasite. They cannot continue their lifespan without destroying a host body. We have two more slides, I hope. Yes, two more slides. After that, plant and animal kingdom. Yes, protein viruses also contain genetic material that could be either DNA or RNA. So either RNA or DNA are present in case of virus, and no virus contain both DNA and RNA. Simultaneously, we cannot see this both in a virus. Okay, one will be there at that time, one will not be there. That is what is said, that simultaneously it is not present. Okay, what is the nucleoprotein? The genetic material is infectious. In general, the virus that infect plants have single-stranded RNA. Virus that infect animals have either single or double-stranded RNA or a double-stranded DNA. Bacterial viruses are bacteriophages, that is, virus that infect bacteria, are usually double-stranded DNA viruses. Their protein caspid, made up of small subunits called cascomeres, protects from nucleic acid. Yes, the protein code of virus is known as what? Caspid. And their small units is known as what? Cascomeres. Right? So cascomeres are arranged in helical or polyhedral segments. Previous AIPMT question. Okay, so viruses have diseases like mumps, uh, smallpox, herpes, influenza, and AIDS is all in humans is caused by a virus. Which virus? HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, right? HIV virus. In plants, the symptoms can be mosaic formation, leaf rolling, curling, yellowing, vein clearing, dwarfing, and standard growth. So, previous year NEET question was that leaf curling in case of plant is a fungal disease, protozoal disease, viral disease, a bacterial disease. The answer is what? It is a viral disease. Yes, everyone. Viroids. In 1971, another scientist called T.O. Diener discovered a new infectious agent that is that was smaller than viruses and caused potato spindle tuber disease. That is, potatoes become spindle. Okay, it was found to be a free RNA and lacked the protein code. Viroids lack protein code. Okay, and hence he named the term viroid, and their RNA was of a low molecular weight. Prions. In modern medicine, certain infectious neurological diseases were found to be transmitted by an agent consisting of an abnormally folded protein. The agent was similar in size to viruses. The agents were called prions. Prions were the agents. The most notable diseases caused by prions were bovine spongiform encephalopathy (BSE), also called as mad cow disease in cattle. Okay, mad cow disease that is affecting cows. Okay, it's an analogous variant of CR Jacob disease or CJD disease, and the abbreviation that is asked for entrance examinations or 1 mark board part. CJD, that is CR Jacob disease. Yes, yes, everyone. So hope the audio is perfectly fine now, right? So, lichens are symbiotic associations, that is, mutually useful associations of algae and fungi. The algal component is known as phycobiont. The fungal component is known as mycobiont, which are heterotrophic and autotrophic and heterotrophic. Yes. So, algae prepare food for fungi. Fungi provide shelter and absorb mineral nutrients. Important in case of both boards and it, and mostly in case of board examinations. I mean, class 11th school examination. For CBSE, there will be no boards, right? In case of class 11. For state-wise examinations, we will be having such what board-wise examination for CBSE. There will be no board exams, right? So close the so it is that one lichen, one was for a lichen in nature, and the other one would never imagine that these two organisms had two different organisms within them. Lichens are very good pollution indicators. That is, they indicate they do not grow in areas where air pollution is high. Okay, they do not grow in areas where polluted, that is, air pollution is high. Okay, so that's all for today. Then what we have planned is to take Kingdom Plantae and Animalia just in 2 slides more. Yes, so Kingdom Plantae includes all eukaryotic, chlorophyll containing organisms commonly called as plants A few members are partially heterotrophic, such as insectivorous plants or weeds. Bladderwort or and Venus flytrap are examples of insectivorous plants. Kescuta is a parasitic plant. Plant cells have a eukaryotic structure with a prominent chloroplast. Cell wall is made up of cellulose. The eukaryotic cell, all these we will learn in chapter 8, detail in chapter 8, that is, which is the chapter 8 of your NCERT. Come on. Chapter 8. First one, living world, biological, plant kingdom, animal kingdom, morphology, anatomy, structural organization, and the eighth chapter is what? That's what I am taking right now. That is cell, the unit of life. Yes, cell, the unit of life. Okay. So in that chapter, you will learn about the composition of eukaryotic cell structure in case of plants and the composition of cell wall, cell membrane. We have completed that lecture to the composition of cell wall and cell membrane, right? This what Singer and Nicholson fluid mosaic theory. All those things we have covered. That is in case of cell membrane. Yes. So Plantae includes algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. All those that are those you're going to complete in plant kingdom. That's what you have lecture today too. Yes, life cycle of plants is enough to. I'm not making it confused right now. The alternation of generation or metagenesis. That is in case of plant kingdom. Okay. The next topic, that is animal kingdom, that is comprised by heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms. They are multicellular. Cells lack cell wall. They are directly or indirectly depend on plants for food. They digest their food in an internal cavity, stores reserves glycogen or fat. Their mode of nutrition is holozoic by ingestion of food. They follow a definite growth pattern and grow into adults that they have a definite shape and size. Their higher forms show elaborate sensory and neuromotor mechanism, and they are capable of locomotion. Sexual reproduction is by copulation of male and female followed by embryological development. That's all about Kingdom Animalia. I'm just read it in such a speed manner because you have completed the entire chapter of Animal Kingdom, and the link is there in the description box too, right? Okay. So once again, if anyone new is watching this session, do join the Telegram group, and the direct link to join is given there in the description box, and it is t.me/neat_biopoint. Then do hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe Biopoint Stream the World of Bio. So that's all for today. It's me signing out from your favorite and my favorite Biopoint Stream the World of Bio. Bye bye.